All right, let's take a look at the home run gift box. This one's perfect for Father's Day or really any baseball fan in your life. It's about 6.5 inches square and 4.5 inches tall, so it holds quite a bit. You can think snacks, gift cards, tickets, little collectibles, that sort of thing. I love how the wood pattern paper gives it that nostalgic, old school ballpark feel. And if you're using it for birthday instead of Father's Day, no worries, we added a happy birthday version in the extras folder. Let's get started. All right, let's start with the base of the box. Now this is going to be a little bit different than what you may be used to. These are the tabs, and we made them a little bit longer to kind of sturdy up the box without having to add additional overlays or layers inside. So let's make sure that we get a little bit of glue along the perimeter here. And then just like we do with the tabs, we'll do a little bit of glue right up to the edge and then spread that out like so. And then you can take your next piece, which is identical, and just line that up, just making sure that it's nice and aligned with the very edge and that it lines up this way too. If you fold it like this, you can see that this tab sits perfectly on that other tab, indicating that we have it lined up correctly. And then just make sure that you press on the entirety of that long tab there. Okay, so again, that's what it's going to look like on the inside. I'm going to thicken it up, make it a little stronger for us, because you might be putting something potentially large in there. And we'll just repeat that process a few more times to get the main part of our box in place. Okay, spread that out. Just want to make sure that everything looks nice and accurate. And glue is playing games with me today. Fold it over onto itself. Check your alignments. Press that down. That looks good. And give that a nice press throughout. There we go. Okay. All right. So 2 of them together. It's going to get kind of long, so give yourself some room. Working around the perimeter. A little bit there, and then of course, just kind of pretending like the tab's there. There we go. Grab that last piece. Just kind of connecting all of them together. And just get that lined up. Like so. And then I'm going to fold it onto itself. Make sure those tabs align nicely. There we go. And then the last step is just to close the loop, as I usually say. Okay, so we've got 1 more to go. Go around the perimeter. A little bit there for good measure. Spread that out nice and thin. There we go. You should be able to just drop this down like so and close it up. That isn't always the case. It should be. Since it's symmetrical, let's take it and fold it over onto that section there. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. And we have the main compartment almost done. Got to put a bottom on it, and then we have a liner as well. Okay, so let's open this up. Bring these tabs down. Now you'll notice you have 2 pieces that look kind of similar, but one has a BL etched into it, and one has a B etched into it. This is your bottom liner. That's going to go inside to kind of strengthen up the bottom. But what we need to do first is anchor this to just one of the tabs. So let's do that first. Okay. And get that right out to the edge. This is the one with the B on it. Make sure it's centered. Beautiful. B for beautiful. Then you can take it and let it drop, and then press down. Oops. Press down on the rest of the tab there. It's okay if it's flat. There we go. Okay. Let's open this back up. Now, bring in the remaining 3 tabs, apply our glue. If we don't get this to work the first time, I'll show you a little trick. I'll probably show you anyway, especially if you're new. This is our first launch that is exclusive to Creative Fabrica. So if you found us through Creative Fabrica, welcome. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and spread the glue out to the very edges of the tab on all 3 sides, like so. And then we'll take it and close the lid. Focus on this side first. Make sure it goes all the way out to the very edge. Make sure it's good and centered. Press that down, kind of wipe the glue away, and then take a look at the 2 other sides. They should just kind of fall into place. You might need to kind of nudge the wall in a tiny bit. It's possible, that's normal. That looks good. Flip it over, push down on the rest of the tabs. And yeah, you know, with that extra little layer inside, the box seems to hold its shape a lot better. Okay, and if you have any little gaps, I'll show you a little trick here. I always grab a bunch of, when I have scrap paper, I'll cut it into little strips like this. And what you can do is just put a little bit of glue on the very edge of it. And you can literally just pop it right in between any little area that maybe is not sitting completely flush for you. And then just press that down. You might need to reapply the glue. And oftentimes I will just grab a fresh little scrap and just pop that right in there. Just paint a little bit of glue on that, press that down, hold it for a few seconds until it makes contact, and there is your compartment, your main compartment. And then what you can do is apply your glue around the tabs here. Try to stay away from the walls, maybe a little bit in the middle, and take this piece that's labeled BL and just drop it in there. It's going to cover up the tabs and also make the bottom a little more sturdy. Nice solid box. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful shape too. Okay, so that's that. Now, of course, we need to make a lid for it. And the lid has kind of a dimensional feel to it. But before we dive into that, well, we need to do a few things here. I'm going to put together the main little focal point on this. These are going to go around that part. And I think we pretty much need all of this and this. Okay, so let's start with these 2 pieces. Okay, we're going to layer these one on top of the other just to kind of make it a few layers thick, reinforce it a bit. And this is going to get glued onto our dimensional lid once we actually have it together. And throw some glue throughout, like so. Don't need to cover every inch of it. Oops, almost put it on wrong. There we go. Okay, line that up as accurately as you can. Perfect. Okay. Just like that. All right, next, I'm going to take this white layer. This white layer is going to go on like this. Just like that. Okay, so let's flip this around and apply our glue to this white layer. Very classy, nostalgic sort of box. And again, as I mentioned in the intro, we do have a version that says happy, well, birthday instead of Father's Day. So you don't have to do this for Father's Day. You can do this for a birthday, which is nice. Okay, I'll grab this and get this. Make sure you're doing it right. Okay, I'm looking at the little circle here where the ball is going to be. Making sure I get that lined up, and the rest of it will just kind of fall into place, like so. There we go. We need to give that a little nudge, and then press that down all the way around. There we go. Okay, now we're just going to build this up now. Okay, next thing we need to do is put our bat in place here. And I did this in two-toned wood grain paper. I went with a lighter tone for the bulk of it, and then a darker tone wood for a little overlay detail on this. Just make sure that you're lining this up correctly. It's pretty self-explanatory, but don't want to mess it up. There we go. I don't think we even have anything baseball related. I think there's one for Father's Day where it's like a baseball cap, but nothing really specific. So real quick here, there's a lot of little detail on this. Okay, you're gonna try your best to get this glued down. If for whatever reason there's any little section that's maybe kind of hanging off, we can use that painting method that I just showed you to kind of go in and get the rest of it to kind of stick. I'm doing my best here to get glue in as many little sections as I can. Now, one thing you want to be careful about is getting glue all over the place. So tread lightly, try not to use too much. And I'm going to start here at the head of the bat. Same with this, and then just kind of drop it in gently. There we go. And if we have any little areas that are just not sitting flat, you can always, like I said, grab our scrap paper and just kind of paint some extra glue in any little area that might need it. Like right there, that little section is kind of sitting up on me. Throw a little bit of glue and just dab it gently. Don't need to overdo it. And then press that down. There we go. That looks nice. Let's have a look. Yeah, not bad. What we're going to do is I'm going to take and create the little ball thing in the center here. Okay. So this, we're actually going to end up foam squaring this whole thing. And it's made up of a few layers. I'm going to start by gluing two of these together. Since it's kind of carrying a pretty big load, we want to make sure that it's stiff enough, which is why we doubled it up. Okay. So we'll glue this to this. Just line that up as accurately as you can. I hit this with a little bit of brown ink just to kind of distress the edges a bit. Okay, we'll leave that there. Then we have our Father's caption. The white layer is going to go on top of the solid blue. Let's do that first. Okay, just like that. And then the actual layer that has the words cut out is going to go on top of that. Just be gentle with the glue here. I wouldn't worry so much about trying to get it on every little inch of this, but there are some, like the little sections for the A and the H. Try to get a little dot of glue on that, but then also dab that with your finger to thin it out so it doesn't go spraying all over the place. Okay, and this really only goes on one way, obviously. Line that up as accurately as you can. Beautiful. Nice classy baseball font. I was told that I say font weird. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is. Okay, let's put our ball together real quick. Grab these pieces here. Okay, we're going to take and put this one right in the center. And actually, it might be a better idea to start on the sides so that we have sort of a guide as to where the center should go to keep the seams nice and even. Okay, so we'll start on one side here. And that should be nice and flush on all these sides. There we go. Okay, I'll grab this one. The same thing. I'm just doing little dots and then just kind of dabbing it. Just doesn't get on my red piece here and blemish it. There we go. Make sure it's nice and flush with the edge. Otherwise it's going to throw things off for us. There we go. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to put the middle piece in, and you can see how it helps to have those two side pieces in place first so that we can better gauge where to center it so the seams look even. Okay, there we go. And just drop that in there. Keep your eye on the seams, make sure they, again, look nice and even on both sides. Beautiful. Press that down. That's a nice ball. Okay, and you can see there's a series of little score marks here to help you with the positioning of this element, which is what we're going to do now. So let's get that glued down. Use those little markers. There's one on the left, one on the right, one at the top. I think that looks about right. Yeah, okay, good. Cool. And then this guy here, we can foam square this to give it a little bit of dimension. So why don't we do that? I think these larger ones will work. I'm going to just do 3. One in the center, one on either side. Okay. There we go. And that is going to go right here. Okay, well, I'm going to have to recut the letter A here, which is okay. But let's get this in place first. Here is the shadow layer for happy. And here are the actual letters for that shadow layer. I'll throw a few little dots of glue on that. Get that in place. Just want to make sure you center these so that that shadow element is nice and pronounced. Get that centered a little better. There we go. Grab the other P. Yeah, like I said, there's one piece, 2 pieces during all these assemblies that manage to get lost. And it's always these little tiny ones, and it happens. We'll just have to recut it. So there's the other P and then a Y. And this is actually going to go on this blue layer that I have over here with the little pinstripes. A nice little baseball detail. There we go. Okay, so there's happy. And that is going to go right here. And you can foam square that, or you can glue it down flat. I think with so much going on already, I'm just going to go flat with this one. But it definitely has enough meat to it where you can add some foam squares. So there's our happy, and then day goes right here. And of course, like I said, it lost an A. What are you gonna do? Okay, nice and easy with the glue. I did something to my glue bottle. Now it's Niagara Falls, of course. Yeah, I haven't really, I was raised on the south side of Chicago, so naturally I'm a Sox fan, but I feel like I haven't watched the Sox since about 2007 just because the team is just awful. It's really hard to support them. But yeah, I did watch, and I rooted for the Cubs when they won a few years back. That was nice. A lot of Chicagoans were waiting for that day, and from what I understand, they're doing amazing again. So go figure. Okay, I'll find that A and get it glued down. You obviously want to get it glued down, and then we're going to pop it right onto this section here, like so. Make sure you get that lined up as accurately as you can. I will find that A. I will find it. Okay, cool. So now this part here, this is going to get glued down flat. I guess you could technically use some foam squares on it, but like I said, I think there's already so much going on. I don't think it's necessary. All right, let's go ahead and just start building the lid here. You can see what we have here. Okay, we got some tabs. What we're going to do is apply glue to these 4 tabs and get them connected. Go nice and easy with the glue. I found this really cool. Well, actually, we have 3 different wood textures that we're using on this one. And not often do we actually use a patterned piece like this as an actual structure, but we do have another little section that's going to kind of sturdy it up, and then there's a bunch of overlays, so I think it'll be fine. But I did take some time with a dark brown, went around and inked this, especially because this is a white core paper. So with white core, when you cut it, you know, there's no color in between the layers, and a little bit of the white sticks out, which I guess is okay, but let's get this going here. Okay, and pop that in. There we go. And the last one. There we go. Okay, so that's that. So now remember I mentioned that we have a little dimensional piece that we need to assemble. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fold these up. I have my texture side facing me, and these tabs are actually going to go on the inside like so, because the idea here is to kind of create a recessed sort of thing here like that. Okay, so just follow along with me here. We're going to put some glue on this tab, on these 4 tabs actually. But then what we're going to do is take them and actually glue them to the inside of this other section. We're going to create sort of a recessed little compartment. And then these other tabs, we're going to use that to actually glue this to the other part of the lid. It'll all come together here in just a second. Just bear with me. Okay, grab this tab, glue it to the outside of this section. There we go, just like that. Okay, a couple more tabs to go here. Just throw that on there. And then you're going to tuck that behind and line that up. Give that a quick press. Shouldn't take long. Pretty small little tab. And then the last one here. There we go. Press and hold that. And now while we have this like so, what we're going to do is we're going to take and, well, we're going to glue this part inside. Need to add that layer first. Let's go ahead and throw a little bit of glue on there. That way we have a nice two-tone little pinstripe thing going on. These are, I guess, more like traditional baseball colors, but of course you can adapt this to your home team, whoever they may be, by using their colors. Okay. There we go. And then this is going to go in here, like so. Okay, so got, well, there's a lot of real estate to cover here. I wouldn't worry about, again, trying to get it on every single inch of it. You definitely want to get the perimeter. And you definitely want to get where the caption is, just a little bit there, and then just kind of hit some of these as much as you can before the glue starts to dry. Got a little bit on my finger there, careful. There we go. I'm just going to pop that right inside. And just let it drop. I'm going to use a dowel here in the corners. Make sure that's all nice and aligned. There we go. That looks nice. Perfect. Okay, so a couple ways of doing this. We're going to take this piece now. You can literally just drop it in. We're going to glue the tabs to the top of the frame because, well, this piece is technically going to cover this up anyway. See what I mean? And that looks awesome. So that's what we can do. Let's start by, we can open this flap up, bring it back a little bit. Just throw a little bit of glue on there. And then you can actually just put this down and use a dowel to help you push that tab into place. Like so. Let's go to the other side, opposite side. Throw a little glue on there. Put that down flat. Grab your dowel, push down. And then two more. You could probably do both of these in one fell swoop. Pop that down. There we go. Keeps it nice and clean looking on the inside. And again, don't worry about that because this is going to cover it up. Make sure that obviously when you put your bat down or this layer down that it's not like this or like this. Make sure you have the orientation correct. Okay. And what we'll do here is just focus our glue on the perimeter. You want to get it all the way out to the edge. If we need to, we can always go in and use our little painting method to kind of clean anything up that might need it. But I think that's plenty. And let's line this up as accurately as we can. Make sure it's good and centered. And here, I can take this now and push this down like this. And again, just use our dowel to really get the very edges of this to grab nicely for us. Take a look at it. That looks great. The seams are looking good. And if they're not, again, you can use our little paint method and kind of help it out wherever we see fit. The wood fits nicely, just like that. Okay, so the last step here is we have these little strips here. Okay, and you'll notice on the side of the lid here, there, you should be able to see them. It might be kind of hard if you have a pattern, but there's little guides here to help you get this centered. There they are, there's one there. Okay, so this is how it's gonna work. It's gonna work like this. Okay, we're just gonna layer this all the way around. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this little tab and get that glued down first. Get that, make sure you keep it centered, like so. And I may go in and maybe hit this with a little more ink, just to kind of rough it up a little bit. Okay. Now we're just going to leave that how it is and grab the next piece. The next piece is going to go over this, like so. And then we're going to kind of work our way around that way. That one's just going to kind of dangle there for a minute. Go ahead and get your glue, mostly around the perimeter. I think is the most important. And then go ahead and throw some on that little tab as well. Get this lined up with the existing section there. And then get that centered on the other side as well. Just gonna press that down. I can see I've got a little bit of lift there. I'll fix that though. Not a big deal. I'm just trying to make sure that you keep this centered. There we go. Don't worry about that one dangling there. It'll be fine. Okay, let's grab this next piece and apply our glue along the top and bottom mostly. And throw a little bit on the tab. And I'll pop this on top of this little tab here. Keep it centered. Lay that down. Like so. You can get your finger in there and press down from the inside as well. And then get that centered. Push that tab up on the other side. There we go. Looking sharp. Okay. Grabbing the final little piece here. And throw a little bit on the tab. Let's get that matched up. Nice and centered. There we go. Bring that over onto the adjacent side. Okay. And finally, take this piece that's been dangling for a little while and apply our glue all the way to the very edge along the sides. Then let's close this up. Nice and centered. Should fit right on top of that tab to finish it off. There we go. And like I said, I might go through and maybe hit this with a little more ink just to rough it up a tad more. As I mentioned, if you have any lift on any of these edges, grab yourself a piece of scrap, tuck it under, and just paint that glue on there. Hold it down for just a few extra seconds. Okay, let's put the lid on. That looks great. Okay, and then the cherry on top here. You can foam square this if you want, but I think, again, because there's so much going on already, I think that's fine. Oops, I had a little glue on my finger there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and glue this down flat. I think that's enough dimension for this box, but that's really gonna do it. Again, this is a good sized gift box. You could probably fit some socks, ties, probably even a t-shirt, maybe even a dress shirt. I should test that out, but let's get that glued down. Get it nice and centered. You can see the shadow layer is there. So there's really no doubt as to where it needs to go. And get that down. Don't forget, I need to put my A in there. But aside from that, we are good to go. Beautiful box. Look at the dimension on that. I love it. So that is gonna do it for our little box here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment, visit us on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So visit us on Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. And if you haven't already, head over to Creative Fabrica and get yourself an all-access membership so that you can enjoy this. And at this point, about 450 other Dreaming Tree files, with all of them being available by November 20th. So again, hope you had a blast. I look forward to crafting with you again.